Cool. We're good.
Oh yeah, do you want to give Jack the quick 101 on the mic as well? Like what? Oh,
You've done a few
no
of these.
issues? Yeah,
You know
yeah.
how to talk to them these, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just directly in front.
Hey.
He was saying.
As long as it's where it is now,
Yeah.
you can ignore it from there.
I know.
Cool.
It's the rock stars that you've got to worry about because they go straight.
Oh,
to the
really?
rock.
No, he is a rock star as well, but we got to just make sure he doesn't do that. Good stuff.
Great.
All right, we're good.
Yeah.
Jackie G.
How are we?
Jack Ginnivan.
Yes.
I wanted to just start by just reading a tweet because I think there's like a lot of stuff that comes out about you in general.
There would be a few tweets floating around, I'm sure.
Definitely, man. And you know, this one's actually by an interesting guy. He goes, "Who is Jack Ginnivan? To the blind, he is light. To the hungry, he is food. To the lonely, he is company. To the sad, he is joy. But to me, he is everything. He is my source of life."
Wow.
It's a pretty nice one.
That's deep.
I know.
That is deep.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah.
That's me right in the fields early on a Sunday morning. I probably needed that.
Yeah, well, dude, like, we sort of talk about this, but, you know, how does it feel waking up on Sunday after a big game like that and just, you know, big crowd, big expectations, almost pulled it out the fire and unfortunately just sort of missed out?
Yeah, it's a weird feeling to wake up to. It's just a little bit empty, I guess. You know, you try as hard as you possibly can for 120 minutes with your 22 best mates and you fall agonizingly close. So, yeah, it's pretty disappointing and just, sad in the time. But you've got to move on very quick in this game. And our attention turns straight to Freo next week and at the G in front of our fans again. And they're that loyal that they'll all come out and support and there'll probably be 85,000 again. So, yeah, I'm keen for that.
Awesome. That's another thing, right? Like, you've just been playing in sort of blockbuster game after blockbuster game with just huge crowds. Like, you like the crowds, right? You enjoy it.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I'm curious because obviously I think the loudest crowd I've performed in front of was like my year 10 speech competition. There was about 45 people there.
Yeah.
And it kind of, you know, there was a few laughs, but I don't think I heard anyone cheering or chanting. Like, run us through it. Like, what does it feel like? What is it sort of, you know, when does it hit you? You know, when does it sort of make you go, okay, I got to step up, or when do you block it out? And how do you balance it?
Yeah, well, it's a bit odd. We've had the national anthem once this year for Anzac Day, but we had it again yesterday. So that moment where you're just standing there and it's sort of like it feels like it's silent, but he's singing the song. No one's really saying anything. It's just the guy singing the national anthem, and then like you're linked in arms, and when he finishes, the crowd just goes berserk, and you like run away, and both teams spread, and yeah, that's an incredible feeling. You get goosebumps. Like, yeah, it's not a cliche. You actually do. So yeah, that feeling once everyone's just so invested when they go to the footy. They're not there just to watch it. They're there because they love the game and they have a team they support, and yeah, they're so invested in it, which is really cool.
I've got a question actually. I've always noticed AFL players never sing the national anthem, but when I watch the Olympics, a lot of the international countries do. Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Do they know the words?
Do you know the words?
Yeah, I do. I remember singing it in year 6. Like, we'd always. Oh, I don't know how your primary school worked, but like the preps would have an assembly at the start, at the end of the day, like 3:20 or the start. I can't remember, and the preps would sit there 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, and you'd all have to stand up, and one of the kids would sing it from year 6.
Yeah.
And that's all I remember from.
Were you that kid?
No, no way.
You weren't
I
that
was the
kid.
one in the cool kid in the back left corner, just hanging out with my mate talking shit. So, yeah, I don't really know. It's maybe like a man thing not to do it. I don't
Right.
like a AFL. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got no
yeah.
idea. But
I've always wondered.
yeah, it's I feel awkward maybe singing it as well.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I wouldn't sing it. But yeah.
Yeah. And when you sort of deal with the failure of losing a big game like this, do you have sort of a framework that you use to deal with it based on, you know, any big failures you've had growing up or any big games coming through the ranks?
Yeah, I think having confidence in myself. I've always been a confident guy and backed myself in. So not from just me, but from the team as well. We're like a process driven team, so we'll get back in tomorrow and review it, and then we'll just see what we could have done a little bit better. We're a kick away from the best side in the comp, so
Yep.
there'll be a lot of positive reinforcement to come out of the game, and going into the next game, we play Freo, who have bet over there, and there'll just be a lot of positive reinforcement. I
Yep.
think there won't be any dwelling on the loss. That's what it is for today, Sunday, where everyone's by themselves and they can sort of look back and think what they could have done better. But once we're in on Monday, it's back to work, and we're ready to go.
So, you talk about positive reinforcement. I just love that concept because it applies to really anything. It can be sport, or it can just be your job, or it can just be dealing with any sort of loss in general. Just to kind of dig in, when you talk about positive reinforcement, is that something led by a captain or every single player or a coach or, a therapist? How does that sort of manifest in what you get back to actually have positive reinforcement?
Yeah, there's a few that definitely drive it. The captain, Scott Pendlebury. After the game, we got in. Just we all went to the locker rooms pretty disappointed. Because it's been weird. We usually go into locker rooms, sing this song. All our families are in. It's so loud. But yeah, it was a really weird. Like you walked in, I didn't even know what to do because against Sydney, I hurt my leg, so I wasn't even part of it. So I haven't lost since round 9 or like round 8 properly,
Huge streak.
which
Yeah.
is like crazy. So yeah, we walked in and I was sort of just following everyone. Like, what do you just? Yeah. So we sat in the locker room and everyone had about 2 minutes to themselves, and then yeah, Pendle's got us together, just the players, and said, "Geez, we're a good side." Like, literally, what we're saying, how, how proud he was of us, and yeah, like I said, we lost by 6 points to the best side, the team that can't get beaten. There was no chance we were going to win. So, yeah, definitely Pendles. He's a great captain. He's been elite for so long, and he was probably best on ground for us as well yesterday. So, and then the coach, obviously, Fly, will always have that positive reinforcement. He's a real. He doesn't like to. He's got this motto that winners only. We don't act like losers. So, yeah.
What does that mean to you to act like a loser?
Yeah, well, he said it in his press conference after the game that a few of us were laying down on the ground, and he hated it. So like in the
Just defeated.
yeah,
lying
like
down.
we don't do that.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. We're winners. So yeah, after the game, he got us in a room and was like, "Don't fucking lay on the ground ever again." Like, and it was pretty like he was pretty aggressive with it, and it was probably good because we haven't acted like that the whole year, even though we're doing it subconsciously. Like I was on my knee, like I was depleted, like, but a few boys were like laying down flat on the ground, and just a bad look, I think. So yeah, that was quick to change, and if we lose again in the next 2 weeks, no one will be on the ground. We'll have our heads held high, and that's how we want to be, I think, at the Collingwood Football Club.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And do you think, like in general, like when you're by yourself and you've had reflection like last night, are you putting those ideas back through your head as well? Are you reinforcing that in your own way?
Yeah, 100%. I was with a few boys last night, and we just talk shit about the game, and I don't really like being by myself after the game. It's sort of just, it can be a lonely place, I feel like. So not that I can't be alone, but yeah, after the game when you're tired and you just stuffed, you sort of want to just talk to a mate. And
Same boat. Like
Yeah.
if something goes bad for our business, we had like a rough thing with supply chain, or something's late, or maybe an investor that we thought was going to invest and invest. It sucks. Like it's sort of like it sort of
Yeah.
drops you down. And I mean, we'll often like call each other just to talk about what we think happened and deconstruct it, right? Wearing anything, I feel like yourself and wearing it on your chest, like a problem shared is a problem halved, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely think that's like a great way to handle it. Like, do you, like in general, when it comes to, even if it's not business related, like if it's something you feel shit about, you're like, how much time do you want on that to ruminate by yourself versus how much time do you think it's like good to start talking to people immediately?
Yeah, I've noticed that the times in my life where I've just ruminated on stuff, even like a breakup with a girl or a failure at work, and you go into your own mind and you go into the different dark places there. And as soon as you talk to someone about it and vocalize it, it completely helps solve it or work through it in a much quicker way. Whereas your mind can just go into dark places, and if you let it go uncontrolled without vocalizing it,
100%.
it can get scary.
I call my mum. I don't know if you do you have like a family member that's your first point of call when shit's going bad?
Yeah, I love my mum. to
Yeah, I'm a
bits.
mummy's boy.
Same.
That's,
So,
I think that makes three of us actually.
so yeah, mum and my middle sister Meg. She's we're basically like the same in everything we do.
So is she younger or older than you?
Older. She's
Yeah.
26,
Okay.
and then Brooke's 38. So
Right.
when I want
Oh, wow.
cuddles,
There's a bit of a gap between you.
yeah, I know.
Wait, so you're the youngest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I want cuddles and just love, I call Brooke, who's 38, and she's got the twin girls and a little baby Judd. So
Awesome.
I go there, and then when I want someone to give me advice and someone who's like close to my age, who's been through that, Meg is the one to go to, and mum can just overview everything. So yeah,
Awesome.
we've got a good family, and dad can just be firm and tell me how shit I am or how good I am, which is good.
Yeah.
I think another big one that I've sort of started to think about recently is how I sort of value myself and sort of the identity of myself and how it's linked to all these different things that I do. And I think this is something you sort of shared with me, but it's this idea that if you fail at one thing, you shouldn't let that impact your own self-worth. And I don't know, is that like a perspective that's crossed your mind when it comes to losing these big games and the identity of Jack G?
Yeah, I think I was talking to someone about this not that long ago. Like, I'm still learning how big of a person I am now. Like, I've changed. Like, my whole person, like who I am, has changed from, like, we were just saying it, like from round 1 to round 22 or round 24 now. It's just like changed dramatically. So I'm still sort of like learning how to deal with things off field, on field, that
Yep.
like it's going to have an effect on a lot of things. I've got to act more like an adult. Like, I'm a 19-year-old. I feel like I'm sort of a kid from Castlemaine, but I'm also like, I've got to be an adult where I work, and I've got to do things that maybe other 19-year-old kids can sort of get away with.
Yeah, a lot of them would be studying, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, when we were 19, we were at university,
Mm.
and we didn't have to worry about anything we did on social media, or pretty much anything that we did in any workplace that would be amplified by media. So we had time to work it out, and funnily enough, Raoul sent me this like fascinating article about, is it the amygdala?
Yeah, it's a part of the brain that controls rational thought, and it only fully forms by the age of 25. So prior to 25, it's still developing. And it's really funny because I have this friend who told me that he observed the age of about 25 to 27 is this huge fork in the road moment for most young men. He's seen in Melbourne where you go from this, like, going out every weekend, just doing lots of stuff that when you hit 30, you're like, why the hell was I doing all that stuff, right? And then I found this article and I was like, oh, that makes total sense. It's because your brain hasn't fully formed and it's going through that formation period.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, like, my biggest concern when I was 19 was whether or not I was going to get into 7 nightclub on a Thursday night. So
Yeah.
you're doing well.
Yeah.
You're doing well.
With
Yeah,
that, I'm a real spontaneous person, so that leads straight into just doing things. Like, after this, I'll be like, oh, let's do this, and then I'll be like, oh, it's boring. Let's do this. Like, I'm always like, let's do stuff. I hate sitting down and being by myself. And people say, yeah, you need to take time for yourself, but I'm also like, what? Like, why hang out with myself when I can go hang out with my mates? Like, sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Well, I mean, it's sort of interesting. Like, when I think that idea, when someone says, be comfortable with yourself, it's the idea that you can sit in silence and not feel overwhelmed just by your own thoughts.
Yeah.
So, like, is that something you feel if you're just kind of
No,
sitting
I
back?
can definitely, like, I've definitely got a lot better at that at the start of the year. I had a girlfriend, so it was like a bit different. But when we first broke up, I was nowhere. Like, I couldn't be by myself, and let's get back on the breakup thing. It's just like, yeah, crazy. What were we talking about again with the breakup?
Your self-value.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just like being by yourself, that was a really hard challenge for me in January, when we broke up. And Yeah, I was always like to my housemate, like come into my bed, just lay next to me, just don't talk to me, just lay next to me,
Yeah.
like sort of thing. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I still sort of do that sometimes, just like someone that's like close to me. I've got this weird thing that I just need, yeah, people around me. But I'm also like I can go out and do stuff by myself. Like I can shop
Mhm.
by myself. I just don't really
Yeah.
like sitting and doing nothing by myself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Would you say you're an extrovert then? Because one of the definitions of an extrovert is someone who sort of feeds off the energy of other people.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Like I just love, yeah, I think I love other people. People that I don't know. I feel like I love you or like I don't care about you. So if you're in like the bracket of I love you, like if I'm friends with you, I love you, like sort of thing. I'll give you my time and energy. Where if you're just in the middle, I'm like, oh, like I don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Wait, is that like? Because it was just interesting. You were telling me about you've got a really close knit family. So I guess like growing up, was that just something you were used to having around, just like loving, caring people? And so when you sort of leave them, 19 to move to a big city and sort of like for perspective, Castlemaine's like 50,000 people,
10.
10,000 people.
Yeah,
Right, that's a village.
That's a village.
That's a village.
it's
That's
tiny.
that's super tiny. And I guess I'm curious, like when you leave a place like that, is the first thing kind of like, wow, I'm in a different place.
Yeah, yeah, I remember it to this day. The first year was hard. COVID, living away from home, being a mummy's boy, getting everything done
Yeah.
for you.
But you said your mum comes to like every game, right?
Yeah, mum and dad
Yeah.
come to most games, but it's sort of like I only get to see them for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they
okay.
go home.
And that's something like I don't think a lot of people get, right, is that it's you don't just play on the weekend and train a couple times a week. It's like a full-time job.
Yeah,
You know, like run us through it. Like you're training, like you get up, you watching videos,
Yeah.
you're doing debriefs.
yeah. It's our schedule's good now because we're in season and it's late in the year, and we get looked after a bit, which
Yeah.
we need to because it's a tough sport. Like
Mhm.
our bodies are stuffed, but yeah, during pre-season's a very hectic time. You literally can't do anything from Monday to Friday. It's just go, go, go. We do 3 sessions a week that are like 15K. Yeah, you do about 50Ks a week.
Running.
Yeah,
How many Ks are you clocking in a game? 15?
12, 13.
12.
Yeah, for me,
wow.
half forward. So yeah, it's now it's good. So we like play on Saturday, day off Sunday, come in Monday, do the review. And then that goes for like say 11 till 4.
Mhm.
And then Tuesday training, which is 7 till 4, and then Wednesday day off, Thursday training 7 till 4, Friday's like 8 till or 7 till 12,
Mhm.
and then yeah, we play on Saturday. So it's pretty like full on. It's a great job. Like don't get me wrong. You get a lot of spare time, and but when you're at work, you're very into it, and you have to be switched on, and
Yeah.
it's not like sometimes an office job you can sort of just like take a second and be like relax.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think
Or
we
if
do.
you were me in my office job, take 35 out of the 40 hours to switch off.
Chill. do a bit and then just be like, oh, chill. Watch a little bit of NBA or something.
Yeah.
But as is pretty good. But when you're actually like doing the work, when you're in the gym or when you're out on the footy track, especially when you're out training,
Yeah.
you know there's people watching. Like,
Mhm.
and for me, early days that was a big thing. It probably consumed me a lot. I knew the coaches were watching me. Like, I had to, because I started from here. Like, I had to build up to there to get to play a game, sort of thing. So everything I did was I had to be better than the person next to me, sort of thing. And yeah, you nearly try too hard, sort of thing.
Well, talking about trying and improving, like, um, Raul has this incredible analogy about Kobe Bryant and what he did to shoot, right? So, like, I don't want to do it injustice. So, so you're talking about
Yeah.
he would,
Yeah, it was really interesting. I have been like deep diving Kobe because the one thing that stood out to me about him was, he wasn't the number one draft pick. He came straight out of high school. He was traded, I think, in his rookie season. So signaling maybe he's not that valuable or that much potential. But he said when he got to the NBA, he realized that once everyone gets to that point, they sort of give up because they make $1 million. Like they're all on $1 million contracts and they've made it, right? And so because they give up, he was like, this could actually be easier to stand out in the NBA than it is in college or high school because everyone's made it. And then he said, how do I stand out? I'll stand out through hard work and consistent effort. And ultimately, the way he did that was he took a very analytical approach and he sat down with like the coaching team at the Lakers. They mapped out the court and he describes it as he figured out the game of basketball was a game of geometry and angles. And so they mapped out all the different places you could shoot on the court. And then they ran the data to see what the percentage likelihood of hitting a shot was from each point for his position. And so then he picked like the top
Freak stuff.
5. And then he's like, I would just go to those spots and hit 10,000 shots. And so he said, by the time it got to the playoffs, game 7, and I was in that spot, I'd already hit it 10,000 times. Like the only
Yeah.
difference was the crowd, but it was easy for me by that point because I'd put in the work.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. It's I wish we could do that in footy, but footy's a bit more. You can't mark it there and there. But Kobe, I wish I was around when he was like goated.
Yeah.
Like I was a bit young. I was
Yeah.
like I knew him, but like I was too young to like
Yeah.
fully appreciate him. Where like I can fully appreciate LeBron.
LeBron, yeah.
Yeah, and like 2016 finals, like
Yeah.
LeBron, or 2018,
Huge.
whenever he won. Yeah, he's won that many. So
Would you say footy is a game, like they say basketball is a game of angles and hitting these shots? From my perspective, it feels like footy is a game where being a good runner is like one of the most critical aspects of the game. Is that true?
yeah, that's true. I think that's half the battle. Like I feel like I'm fit and like, but I don't know. You get through the regular season and I was feeling pretty good, and then finals is like I don't even know how to describe it. Like 50% harder. Like
Mm.
it's just like
Is that because everyone's just playing
Yeah,
harder and
yeah.
stepping
Just
up?
think about like how our final games in the last 5 minutes. That's how it is the whole game. Like
Yeah, right.
it's just like consistent, like go forward, bang, 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 speed. You don't get a break. The whistle doesn't get blown as much, so the ball's just up, back, up, back. I haven't cramped in like 10 weeks, and on like yesterday I started cramping in my hammies the last 5 minutes, and
You haven't cramped in 10 weeks.
yeah, like
Wow.
for ages. So like I felt like pretty conditioned and like good to go, and you get to it just sort of like gives you a little bit of a reality check. Like
Yeah.
you're good, but there's still this much to go if you want to
Yep.
play finals and play good in finals. Anyone can play good in the first half,
Mm.
because everyone's feeling fine and fresh, but it's the second half where people step up, and that's where the great players are
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
And what do you
Interesting.
like? What do you do to prepare for that, knowing that you get that reality check now,
Mm.
and you've cramped up. You had a banger the weekend or the game before that against Carlton,
Yeah.
where to pull that out of the fire was just unbelievable. Um, you're going in on a high, you're coming off on a low, and as well as that, you have a bit of a knowledge that actually, shit, this is harder physically. What's your thinking and framework for dealing with that?
Yeah. Obviously recovery is going to be big this week for me. It's been big for the last however long. Once it gets to the second half of the year, recovery is extremely important. So I've got a few places I can go to, and I've got some people that look after me, which is really good. I like doing a float. It just relaxes me. It doesn't really do anything, I
For your
think.
mind, right?
It's just it's
Well,
literally
it's funny
for
you say you don't like being alone, but that's like trapped in a little chamber
Yeah, I
of
know.
water alone
Yeah.
for an hour, right?
So I can do it by
Yeah.
myself, but that's a really just I fall asleep
Wow.
when I do it. So that just feels like when I get out of there, I just feel very relaxed, and it's an incredible
Do you
feeling.
meditate?
Yeah, sometimes I need to do it more, but I think not having sun has been a big thing. I used to, in COVID when I was back home, I used to go out the backyard and just like sit on the fake grass and just legit look into the sun or lay into
Oh
the
yeah,
sun and do it.
vitamin D is huge.
Yeah, where like in the winter and the cold, like it's just like doesn't feel the same.
Yep.
Like doing it in a room.
Mm.
Do you supplement? Do you take vitamin D supplements?
Nah, I don't. But yeah, when I get the house in Elwood and I'm 500 meters away from the beach, I'll be going there in the summer. And
I see, perfect for you.
yeah, but going back to that question, the preparing, I think I got injured against Sydney in round 22, and that was like a big deal. And then the next week I backed it up and played good, so I've got confidence. I didn't probably have my best game on the weekend. I did a couple of good things, and I could have been a bit better, but I know that I've got confidence in myself for when I have a little bit of a down week or something happens and I feel not great with my body, I can back it up the next week.
That's important. Like this idea of recovery. A lot of people burn out in our worlds because they think they can just keep pushing a little bit harder, do a little bit more work, and it'll come out the other end well. But they always burn out. And we've talked about burnout between us, and I think we've both had our
Yeah.
time burning out. It sounds like to me you understand, and I think this is just like a sign of your maturity already, as you understand the limit, and then you have the confidence to peel back the forward energy to let yourself recover.
Mm.
I think more people could probably
Yeah.
do that, right?
I think we both recently, maybe after the frontal lobe of our brain fully developed and we got the rational thoughts going, but we became obsessed with recovery, right? And like optimizing the chemical balance in the brain, so to speak. And I think it all begins with sleep for us. Like my first job out of university was like this really, desirable job, but we used to work 120-hour weeks. I remember there was one week where I slept for like 6 hours for the whole week because we were getting some important document in or whatever. And I remember by the Friday, I felt like I was hungover. Like I could not process anything that was being sent to me. And now the number one priority for me is 8 hours of sleep and like getting the perfect sleep. And like I've researched this supplement stack like magnesium, all these different amino acids that I take. And when you get that perfect 8 hours, like your mood's great, your focus is great, like you just get stuff done more productively. Do you prioritize sleep?
Yeah, probably. I think that's a reason why I'm moving out as well. I'm with two two of my mates, but they're on different schedules to me. They do different things, so um, yeah, I definitely. That's a big reason why I'm moving out. I'm also living next to a tram line, which is like annoying, and there's construction around my house and stuff. So I think I'm in an apartment, so it's also like
Yeah.
crowded and sort of stuff like that. So I think moving into this Elwood house on Friday will be really beneficial for me as a person and as a footballer as well. Living with Murph, who's 22, and Tyler, who's 22, a bit more mature than me, and have some more life skills and stuff. And it'll be good to feed off them and yeah, move into the next chapter of my life and sleep well.
Sleep.
Yeah.
LJ has a crazy sleep routine, don't you?
Well, I track my sleep with this thing, so that's like a aura ring.
Oh yeah, a few boys have that.
Yeah,
Is
and
that the
so
heart rate as well?
heart rate,
Yeah.
heart rate variability, and then it tells me like pretty much like how much REM sleep I'm getting and how much deep sleep I'm getting, and I can tell if I'm on a blue screen, half an hour before bed, my REM just drops off, and I don't feel like I've slept as well. I can always get a good deep sleep, and I'm good at very much like sort of calming myself down before bed. I meditate. I like to breathe slowly. Kind of like put away whatever happens on the day, turn that off. It's taking me, you know, 10 years to learn how to just compartmentalize. Could be that I could lie in bed just thinking about what I didn't get done during the day till like, 2 a.m. and then you just have to get up at 7 and you're kind of fucked. But now, yeah, like my biggest flex probably when it comes to anything physical is I have averaged 8 hours of sleep for the last like 2 years almost.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get better than that, man.
Legit.
Yeah.
Can you sleep in now?
Nah, not really.
Yeah.
No, I can't sleep in.
And it's not, apparently sleeping in isn't advisable. So are you familiar with Andrew Huberman?
No.
Recommend, I can send you some of his stuff, but
Shout out Andrew Humans.
shout
if
out
you're
Andrew
listening.
Huberman. We'll get you on sometime
Shout
in the
out.
future. But one thing he opened my mind to was that we are basically organisms that are in sync with Earth and like Earth's rotation around the sun. So the rise and the fall of the sun influences our circadian rhythm. And so when you're in sync with that, that's when you're getting the perfect sleep. You're waking up when the sun has risen. He says one of the most important things as soon as you wake up is most people might go and have a cup of coffee. He reckons wait for 1 to 2 hours,
Yeah, I've heard that.
go and look at the sun and like stand outside and get the vitamin D straight away. And he's like, that will actually activate your mind and your body and you'll be awake and alert. And so getting into that regular pattern, when you sleep in, it throws that pattern out. And so I've found by just getting that regular 8 hours, even on a Sunday morning like today,
Yeah.
I was just up at 7 a.m. feeling optimized.
Nice.
What
yeah.
time do you wake up?
Today?
You in general, yeah.
Oh well, when I train, usually 7 or 6:45, and then
Do you need an alarm to get up?
I just have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like today, I woke up at 7:45,
Right.
like without an alarm. So I feel like my body clock is basically anywhere from 7:45
What time
to
do you go to bed?
6:45. Last night, late. It's
Yeah.
hard to. Yeah, that's the thing with the footy games. It's hard
Yeah.
to. I went to bed at 3.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's like
And is that just the adrenaline still?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
A lot of players have struggle with sleeping, and mine's like eating. So like I ate after the game at like 7, but then you're still hungry. Like I was like chilling with my mates for till like 12, and then I went home and I'm like, oh, I'm that hungry. Like that's just how it is.
How many calories are you burning in a game?
Oh, there'd be a fair bit. I don't actually know. It'd be cool to like track that.
Yeah.
and,
Be fascinated.
yeah.
What's your go-to meal once you've got
Well,
off the field?
we had we have grill burgers, so it's
Nice.
like sort of like healthy, like
Yeah.
pretty good. And then yeah, it was like 12:30 last night, and I ordered like a pasta and a pizza and just like smashed it down with my mate. I'm like, yeah, it's just like weird how your body's just like so high, and when you just talk about it, and like your body feels depleted, but you're not like you're still just like so alert to everything. But yeah, I've heard the not to drink a coffee like an hour.
Yeah.
And that's I don't drink coffee. I drink coffee at lunch to get me through sometimes when I'm tired in pre-season, but
Yeah.
I more drink coffee to be the social guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I got into it. Like,
yeah.
oh, you want to go get a coffee to
Yeah,
a
right.
chick, or
Yeah.
that's the
You're a
go-to.
coffee dates kind of guy?
Yeah, I think so. Just
Yeah.
like in the morning.
What's your go-to? You're like, do you have a coffee spot you taking dates?
I haven't got a particular coffee spot. I need to change it up just
Right.
every now and again.
Yeah, fair enough.
Pillars.
You also get in like, little brunch as well, just coffees.
Yeah, I'm more of like I'm either not lunch. I'm more like breakfast or dinner.
Got it.
So
Interesting.
don't
Classic.
waste me the middle of my day.
Yeah.
Get me in the morning or at night.
And are you the kind of guy that's paying for the first day? Yeah.
It's
You
stock
covering?
standard. I've actually caught up with this girl a few times, and she like gets really angry when I pay, and I'm like she doesn't even eat anything, or like we went out for lunch the other day. Bad timing, but
Yeah.
and I like ordered food, and she got a coffee and I got a coffee, and then I was going to pay, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What do you mean?" Like people are just like weird about that, I think.
Well, it's like we talk about this a lot. Like men have kind of evolved in a way and sort of had the pressure of that evolution that maybe being what was traditionally seen as a classic gentleman is now actually more like a sign that a woman can't do that herself.
Yeah, which is like disappointing because it's not
Oh,
like
super
for me.
disappointing.
Like I'm just like, in that instance, I was like, obviously, I'm just paying for it. But like in any instance, I'm like, oh, it'd just be nice, like,
Oh, definitely.
and especially if I like was like asking her to come.
Yeah, classic gentleman.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Classic gentleman. Yeah.
have a good night. Like I can get it. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see each other. Like if it's good, we'll see each other again, and maybe you pay the next time or whatever it is. Like it sort of just chills.
And why a coffee date over like a few espresso martinis?
Well, it's hard for me in season.
Yeah.
I think in the off season there'll be a lot more dinner dates if I go on some dates. But
You're taking
yeah,
some time off.
I know. Yeah, when
Yeah.
I'm in Europe, I'll go on some dinner
Oh, yeah.
dates.
Yeah.
Try to find some women. But in Sweden, might go down to Sweden.
Oh,
Well, you
yeah.
got the blonde hair, so they
I
might you
know.
might be able to pull it off.
You
I
They
know.
might
fit
they
in
might think
there,
you're one
yeah.
of them.
I know no one knows me over there, so it'll really humble me if no one likes me or not. So that'll be a good
You'll work
reality
it out,
check.
mate. Still a good looking dude.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's all right.
So, but yeah, dinner dates are. I feel like dinner dates are a bit more like formal and like, okay, this could be like, even if it's a
Yeah.
first date, you're like, okay, this is like,
Yeah.
What do
this
you,
is a bit
what
of
do you
something.
think, man? Because like I think like
Bit different for me. I'm 19.
yeah, that's what I was going to get to, right? Like I now personally, I don't like if I'm going to go on a date, I don't really want to be drinking in general because I find alcohol, you can get a bit silly and you just sort of end
Not
up
yourself.
like, talking dumb stuff. Like alcohol has its place and it can be fun, but first date drinking, everyone's a little bit nervous anyway. Don't know if that's always good. I think it's like nice to, meet someone and do something just sort of different, like go for a walk or, definitely get a coffee. That's easy as well, right? If you just want to talk. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, let's go get dinner. It's like sharing a meal is like a very personal thing,
Mm.
and it seems like, well, I look, I know for sure I wasn't taking like me to go out for dinner when I was 19, couldn't afford it.
Mm.
But then also like, I would think that, my anxiety around the date was so severe that I just, couldn't imagine just like not having a drink or doing something that just sort of let me escape from that.
Yeah.
Do you get that kind of now? Now
Yeah.
I have no problems with it. but
Yeah, I was actually speaking to a girl not long ago about I don't get nervous around anything really.
yeah,
Like,
cool.
yeah, literally
Has that
any.
always been like the
Yeah,
case?
I think so. There's the only times I remember being nervous is around the first game I ever played in AFL.
Mhm.
It was a nervous time. And then yeah, I just don't feel like I get nervous. And then she went on to be like, that's apparently it's not that good of a thing to not be nervous. She was talking about like it can. It's like
Yeah,
leads
I
into
don't
like
know.
being a psychopath. Sort of,
Nah, I'm gonna
Nah,
call bullshit
nah,
on
nah.
that.
That's-
Yeah.
like not empathetic and
Unless,
stuff.
unless Jack State's a psychiatrist, and shout out to her, and I'm sorry, but nah, I think that's like an extreme reaction to someone being confident. Because I absolutely do not get nervous on any interactions with people now. Doesn't matter who I'm meeting. If it's like a senior leader at a company, if it's famous athlete, if it's just anyone, it doesn't matter. Because I think the point is that ultimately they're just human as well, right? So why should you have to feel nervous
Yeah.
around them? I think like, you know, feeling excited is a good thing because you're excited to see that person. But it's not your job to have somebody make you feel a certain way, right? And if they're saying, oh, because you don't feel a certain way, you don't feel in the first place,
Yeah.
that's probably them just projecting, right?
Yeah.
They're nervous, so they
Yeah.
want you to feel nervous.
And I'm also like, I'm not going on a date like to be nervous. I think like when I go to see someone or like if I'm going to see someone, like I'm going there because I feel like I want her and like
Yeah.
get to know her or whatever it is. Like even a guy or like I haven't seen in a while or just I don't know anything. It's like I don't do things just because like I do it for a reason sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not here because I don't want to be here. Like
Yeah.
I'm here because I want to talk about shit and I want to have
Right.
good chats.
On
and,
that date, did she say she was nervous? Is that how that came up?
Nah, we were just talking about it in general. It was actually just a few days ago, and she was just like, I was talking about not getting. She was asking me if I was nervous for the game, and I was like, oh nah, and then she's like, oh, that's not good. Like that leads into like psychopath
Know about
areas.
this girl, man.
Yeah.
She's cool. She's fun.
Yeah,
but
okay.
it was. I was like, oh, psychopath, and then
Getting
we were just
charges.
joking about me being a psychopath.
Well, I mean, you definitely. It sounds like you have a high appetite for risk and not being nervous in front of risk, though, right? Like, I mean, even physically, you're putting yourself on the line a little bit. Like that's, I wouldn't put my head in the way of some of the tackles you're putting your head in the way
Yeah.
of, right? So clearly, you're not too nervous about harm to yourself. It seems like. Do you worry about that? Are you worried about just like what's going to happen to you for some of these guys? I think big dudes, man. I was watching it with you, and there's some guy on there who I was like, that's
Some big boys.
that's Fester. That's Lester Adams.
yeah.
That guy's huge.
Yeah,
No, I'm thinking of Lurch. There's like 7-foot tall dudes that
Yeah,
are just
yeah,
like
yeah.
running around the field.
Yeah, there is some big guys. Yeah, sort of. My neck has been like sore in the middle part of the year. I've sort of gone away from the high free kick. There's always a couple instances the last few weeks, but yeah, I've gone away from it heaps. I might get one
Mhm.
a game where like there was times where I was getting 4 and 5.
People loved you for it.
Yeah, built the brand.
Yeah.
So yeah, my neck was actually I have to do neck exercises, which
Oh,
is
really?
pretty crazy.
What do you do for your neck?
Yeah, me and Brody Grundy do it because he had a bad neck.
Yeah.
You get this like band around your head, and you just like you have to sit up straight like this, and you just have to literally like go like
Okay.
that, and like each side like go back and go
I've done
forward.
those. I've had a
Yeah.
slip disc in my neck.
Yeah, there wouldn't be much
Do
worse
they-
feeling.
are they scanning your neck as well after stuff like that?
Nah, I haven't scanned my neck because there hasn't been like a significant like like this. I know it's bad. It's just like
No nerve
it gets
pain?
it just
Yeah.
gets very like jammy
Yeah,
like through this
Jeez.
part. Yeah.
that's tough.
Have
I've
you
got-
ever have you heard of the iron neck? Have you seen
No.
that device?
No.
Joe Rogan loves it. It's like this
Shout out Joe as well.
this like circular thing that you put over your head,
Yeah,
and he reckons
you
it's
hang
saved-
weights off it.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of that
you
actually.
just
Yeah.
like doing
Yeah.
these ones.
Yeah.
It's a pretty funny face you're
Yeah.
making. You're like, Rogan doesn't mind. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah. But you said something that like I don't think we've asked you about, and I'm fascinated by it. It's like the brand being built, but at the same time, you know, you're just trying to play footy, and behind that, there's just been just immense amounts of media, and frankly, like some pretty mean stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's definitely been a change that I've had to deal with. It's just like even yesterday there was a free kick that didn't get paid to me. I was with next to my mate, and he's like, if it was anyone else, wouldn't be talked about. And there was like 7 articles about it. It's just like
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that, right?
it's like like why, and like
Yeah,
it's just like weird for a 19. I don't know. Remember the last 19-year-old kid who had this many articles about him. It just feels like every week there's something new to write about Jack Ginnivan.
Yeah.
Which is okay, but it's just like it just gets very consuming. Like I'm
does it
due-
upset your mum? Does she read it?
yeah, my mum, yeah, my psych who's at the club actually is like in good contact with my mum, and
Right.
because she got very I don't know, anxious about it, or just
Fair enough.
she's like lives away from me. She
Yeah.
like
Mm.
all her kids are away from home now, and she's just like the little son that's in the big leagues and over in Melbourne by himself, and yeah, she gets anxious about it and hopes I'm going well, and so they talk a bit, and yeah, it sucks for my family as well. It's just like sort of changed the whole dynamic of our family a little bit. Like people, Meg goes somewhere or Brooke goes somewhere, it's like, oh, you Jack Ginnivan's sister. Like,
Right.
who wants to be like?
Yeah.
That's the shittest thing ever. Like, it's like
They're
no,
there in person,
yeah,
right?
no,
Yeah.
I'm Brooke. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm Meg. It's just like annoying shit like that. Which is like frustrating. I feel like for them, it's because I would hate to be,
Definitely.
yeah, sort of named like that. But or are you Jack's dad? Like, it's just like, oh yeah, but I'm Craig, sort of. So, and even like, yeah, back home, it's just like consistent, like, mum getting asked, like, is he alright, or like, is this, or good luck
And they
for the
would
weekend.
amplify it because if
Yeah.
her echo chamber is just people who probably do care,
Yeah,
sort of going and saying, "Oh, is he actually all right?"
yeah,
You know, a mum's thinking, "I need to go and find my cub," right?
Yeah.
And that's what mum's like.
Mm.
We've had like, you know, a couple, you know, like one bad review on the internet with our products, and my mum's just like upset about that. So you know,
Yeah.
I can imagine what it's like if like
yeah.
you know you're getting booed right in front of a crowd when you're injured.
Mm.
Like that's you know that's tough, and it was really interesting because it was so polarizing itself. But the one thing that wasn't really taken was that everyone agreed, like, you know, we should be kinder to people in general. So does it feel kind of like, whether you like it or not, you're becoming uh, I guess like a ambassador for the idea of how to treat people, right?
Mm.
Because even if someone's not a Collingwoods fan, they kind of agree, like, you know, would you go and like flare up a 19-year-old who was just, you know, on the street and be a dick to him?
Yeah,
Probably
it's-
not, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy world, the media, how they can, I don't know, make someone feel a certain way. And like, it's so easy for people to be like, oh, don't read it.
Mm.
Like,
Do you read it all?
Nah, like I've got heaps better at not reading it, but like it's so much shit that comes up. Like who like sometimes maybe I want to scroll through Facebook and see what's going on in the world, or
Mhm.
Yeah.
Twitter or Instagram, but
Don't go on Twitter.
yeah,
Do not go. Never go on Twitter.
yeah,
Yeah.
Twitter's
Well, the really interesting thing about the media is that when the internet came around and articles that could be tracked with clicks and that type of thing, is that they were able to study what emotions would make an article more successful by way of how many times
Mm.
it's shared, how many times it's clicked on, like how long someone spends on it. And they used this like emotional framework, emotional valence matrix. And what they found was that articles that create shock or like really hyper emotional articles, controversial, are going to perform the best. And then if you think about a journalist, right, who's writing for one of these things and they need to perform, right? And performance is now tracked very carefully by how many clicks and shares and whatnot. The journalist has this incentive to be hyper sensationalist now. And so they're going to fixate on these topics. And so, like during COVID, I was always watching the news and reading it every day. But then once I started to think about this, I was like, I don't even know if it's news anymore, if it's just clickbait, like
literally.
junk mag stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, there's been some instances where like you're walking, just like it's very consuming. Like you walk into the club. There was one time, and like there was like 5 people around me, like with a mic, like up here, like they're just going like blah blah, blah. Like everyone's just sort of, it's like it gives you like mad anxiety. Like you walk into the club and you're like, you know, when you like start to sweat like
Mhm.
a little
Yeah.
bit, and you're like,
Panicking.
yeah, like literally panic. Yeah, that was walking into the club, and then I reckon the next day I was walking out of the club, and I went this back way where like because I knew they were out there, and I was trying to get in I was walking to my car, and then I just saw them like running towards me. It's like really weird. Like they're literally camera guys sprinting towards you, journos, like, and they're just barking at you, and it was for stuff, and I was like, I can't get to my car without being. So I like sprinted back to Isaac's car, got in his car, and like there's a photo that's like I can't even get in my car. Like they're literally on my door. It's just like, yeah, like you said, they're just trying to do their job, I guess, which is
Mm.
it's weird. I don't know how I would feel about doing a job that makes other people feel anxious. I
Or
don't,
panicked. Yeah. It's
yeah,
just-
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I would feel about doing that.
You got to go Kanye West on them and just knock the mic out.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
I know. I was actually
Nah,
like,
don't do that.
like what?
Yeah,
what
no, we don't
What
condone
happens if
violence,
I
yeah.
like, if I just say like fuck off, like then like
Well, then they've got a video of you saying
Then it's
fuck
even
off.
better,
Like,
right?
Yeah, it's even better.
That's going to go viral on TikTok.
exactly like
yeah.
that's. I've been that close to just being like,
Mm.
like get the fuck out of my space. It's
I
just
reckon,
like
I reckon you just got to like lap it up. Just
Yeah.
embrace it. Just be like,
there is times where
Yeah.
I lap it up. It's like it's more the ones where they're just like in my space is like
Mm.
oh like it makes me a bit anxious. But when it's like out there and it's just like the booing stuff for some reason that didn't affect me at all.
mm,
But there's ones where like people like I don't know just like say like little shit that isn't true. I think that's the worst bit. When it's not true,
Yeah.
then you're
You're
like
talking about fans now?
oh just anything
Right.
like comments of like or just like in the media when they twist a story to and it's not like
Yeah.
aligned with what actually happened.
Mm.
Like that's a big thing where I'm like, that's when the media is fucked.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Where if it's like true and it's like, yeah, okay, fair, play on. But if
You know, and you are handling it though, and you've mentioned the psych a couple times. You know, I've seen a psychologist. Best thing I ever did in my life.
Mm.
Just dealing with anger. I think people don't realize how angry everyone is. You know, everyone's got a little bit of anger in them, and anger doesn't mean flipping this table and like losing. It just means holding on to this kind of resentful energy for a long time over small shit as well. And understanding how to separate those emotions so you can get back to your job. And you know, he was a performance coach, and he helped me perform in my work so that I could, you know, do what we do and have the stress of building a new company. And it was, you know, I would recommend everyone does it.
Mm.
What's your experience, you know, with the psych and
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that I know now that have gone and seen us like my ex-girlfriend Christiana, she's went and saw one, which is good for her. I hope she's going really well.
Awesome.
Even myself, I've never spoke to a psych before, and the club psych, she's very confidential. She's got her own office up right at the back of the club. She works with Melbourne Storm and Collingwood as well, and she's regarded as one of the best in sports Australia, I guess. So she's incredible, Jackie. I've had a lot of chats to her this year just because of everything, and there's times where you just you can't really be bothered playing. This is a bit earlier, like round 7 to 10.
So feeling like down, depressed
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, literally. There was a week where I didn't play against Bulldogs, and the week before there was a lie about me being racist, which wasn't true, and just like random shit like that, which made me not play the next week. And it's just like you feel so isolated when shit like that happens, and then but she's been really good for me. She's an incredible person, and like you said, I recommend people that even have not even anything wrong with them, or they think they're perfect, and fine. Just go speak to them about that. Like, go speak to them how well you're going.
100%. You don't need to have
an external source.
You don't need to be like at the cliff's edge.
Nah.
You just need to really know that if you feel like these things you could improve on. I love this analogy, right? Like if you're trying to get fit or get in shape, you'll go to the gym or you get a personal trainer. If you're trying to get your mind right, it's like getting a personal trainer for your mind.
Yeah.
Right, and they're gonna get you ready. What's like for me, like, and this quote's just never left me. And it's something I took out of my therapy, which was that no matter what the outcome was, if your self-worth wouldn't change, then what would you do? And for me, that was like, well, shit. If my self-worth doesn't move based on any ups or downs, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
And there's no boundaries. Were there any aha moments with your therapy that you went, okay, like I'm ready to get back out there and I feel good?
Yeah, definitely. We talked about just smiling, just living in the moment. Yeah, just easy, just smile. And it was before the Port Adelaide game. We just had a big focus on smile, be happy. Who cares if you get tackled on the ball? Who cares if you get tackled high and they don't pay it? Just get up, smile. The umpires are against me a little bit. They were, or they still are, or whatever it is. There's always a little bit of, oh, it's Jack, let's not pay it, sort of thing. And then just I went out and smiled, and I got tackled on the ball and got tackled high and didn't get paid. And it was sort of just there's a video. I literally get tackled and smile and get up, and I kicked 3 goals, and it was just due to smiling, getting back to what I love, and because I love the game of footy, it was just that maybe my mind or focus shifted a little bit with all the bullshit going on, and it's good to be back in a good space, and loving the game that I always loved since a little kid, I think.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I reckon there was another one, not to overquote my man Kobe, but there was another one I heard him say where they were asking him about controversy surrounding him. There was this playoff series, I think, where he had like 5 air balls or something ridiculous, and everyone was like, how bad are you at basketball? You can't even hit the ring. And he said that the way he got over it was to say, like, get over yourself, right? Realize that, like, most people don't actually allocate that much of their mental bandwidth towards you in the scheme of a week. They might, read the article, but then after that, they've moved on and they're thinking about other stuff. And once you realize that, you realize, like, actually, this isn't that significant. And a lot of people aren't really thinking about it that long. And then if you put that into the broader context that, like, we're going to live for like 80 years on Earth that's been around for like 1 billion plus years, and there's probably other Earths out there with other people, like it all really doesn't actually matter that much.
Yeah.
So it's not worth worrying about.
Legit. It's just such like a 24-hour thing. It's like, it's in the news for 24 hours and then it's gone, sort of thing. It's not a lot of things linger around for much longer than that.
Exactly.
Geez, that's a good way to be mindful. So, I mean, obviously you got a full footy thing going on. You got some stuff going on outside of footy as well. What's like what interests you? You know, like you've told us a little bit about like business interests and stuff like that. How do you think about business, and how do you think about you're making money, and how do you think about investing money and kind of growing and commercial stuff?
Yeah, it's something I haven't put a lot of thought into yet. I need to. Yeah, I'm starting to get to that age where that's real. So, yeah, I want to buy a house. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it in Castlemaine or Melbourne yet. So that'll be a decision me and my manager and all the right people do.
Shout out to John. He
Yeah,
keeps it real.
I know John's a goat. So
John is the guy.
He
I'm a
is.
big fan of that guy.
yeah,
Great guy.
so yeah, I'll do that, and which would be really cool. But outside of footy, it's just sort of very chill, relaxed, spontaneous person. Yeah, like hanging out with my friends a lot. Cafe, like just sitting there we could go for a cafe for 2 hours, 3 hours, and just sit and
Good chat.
talk. Yeah, and it's not like it's not forced. It's just talking about everything, and I like it on op shopping. So op shop, vintage shop, like going into painting stores and all these random like
You like color, right?
yeah, vase stores. And so when I move into my new house,
A few vases in the new house.
yeah, so I'm getting a record player as well.
Oh, sick.
My mate just bought me a record, Lord.
Yeah.
So
What music
Lord,
do you
did
like?
you say Lord, the New Zealand singer?
Lord,
Yeah,
the chick,
yeah, she's awesome.
yeah,
Incredible
she's
voice.
Ribs is my favorite.
Yeah,
Shout
right.
out to Lord if you ever watches.
Yeah, big shout out to Lord. She's from New Zealand. So holding it down for
Is
us.
that the sort of music you're into?
Yeah, I've got a very rogue music.
Yeah.
I can listen to a lot of shit. I like house music. And then just like, yeah, Lord, Chet Faker, Sticky Fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Spacey Jane. Depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
If I'm happy and up and about, I'll listen to house music. If I'm just chilling, driving, I'll listen to that. Just like Stolen Dance by Milky Chance, like just that sort of stuff, just easy. And then I can listen to like jazz, like 80s jazz,
Yeah, okay.
which is really weird.
Yeah,
I like jazz.
I like
Easy
started to get,
you can just chill out to it.
yeah, it's not even like anyone singing. It's just like
Yeah.
the beat and like
Yeah.
that like saxophone hits me.
Yeah, cool.
Any girls that play saxophone,
Yeah.
come my way.
Come on in.
Slide into the DM.
Yeah.
Put the trumpet emoji.
I was listening to some ABBA in the car here to pump myself
Yeah, I like
up.
ABBA.
That's a very
ABBA's a good. You listen to
guilty
ABBA?
pleasure.
When mum and dad are in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair enough. We've got a bit of
I was
age
running out
between
with
us.
Pendles on my story. And I was just laughing. I was like, "Oh, what have you got on? Eye of the Tiger or Queen or something?" And then, yeah, we were just joking about that because he's a bit older than me.
I've got Queen in my top playlist right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one.
Bohemian
hit home.
Rhapsody.
Yeah, that one's definitely real. Yeah, man. Well, look, I mean, I think just the way you think about life for someone your age is very mature. You know, and it seems like you're taking every challenge and kind of collectively making that your own. But also, you know, you're very fortunate that you've got the right support systems, and a lot of people are fortunate to also have those support systems. But they should really just use them more, right?
100%.
And I think also like to take the professional athlete's mindset here and take it to, you know, what you do daily. Like, and we like to think like this, right? We like to think we're professional athletes sometimes. It's like, you know, have structure and stick to it and trust the process.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because when we've always wanted to work with you, right? With our brand tomorrow, and we just had to slide in your DMs and do it the old-fashioned way, and I think we were trying for like months.
Sus.
Yeah, yeah. Jack's like, "Hey, mum, these guys messaging me, want to put stuff on."
Offered to take you out to Nobu or
Yeah.
something.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You should have taken me up on that offer.
that's off the table
It's
now,
off the
mate.
table
You-
now,
yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's weird how it just works, and you know, it's just like for you guys, like you're just shooting your shot, which you have to, like, sorta. And then yeah, I feel like with anything, you give it a go, and
100%. It's our
feel like
rookie
it.
year as well, man.
yeah,
It's our first year in business.
Our
so
rookie season.
we've had a few breakouts too, right?
A few breakouts, yeah.
So yeah, it's all a process.
yeah, love that.
Good, man.
Shout out to tomorrow.
Yeah, cheers. How's it going for
It's
you?
my favorite gel moisturizer. Making me look nice, is it?
You're looking good, man.
You're looking good.
You know, I guess like acne is something that you're dealing with now, right?
Yeah.
And I mean I've had it really bad,
Mm.
and it's sort of something that like it's so interesting. We've talked about this in the office. Like guys think it's funny to want to take care of themselves and use skincare.
Yeah.
Like that's just nuts.
Weird.
It's weird, right? And like in high school, is that something like your friends would do? Like was skincare discussed? Was it a
Yeah, it was weird. Like in like year 10, it wasn't like I never talked about skincare
Mhm.
because I had really nice skin.
Mhm.
From like year 10, like I was like known for having like
Yeah.
the olive, like beautiful.
Olive Jackie Jenner
Yeah.
had the nickname? Yeah.
I was really tanned.
Yeah.
Like yeah, there'd be photos of me in year 10 that I just looked I was hot like in year 10. And then
Still hot, Jack.
Still are, man.
yeah, I was different with the long hair. But then yeah, once I got into like year 11 and 12, year 11 I was sort of like, oh, it's like shit's starting to happen, and I didn't really know what to do. And then in year 12, when I got my girlfriend, girls are obviously pretty big on skincare and
Yeah.
doing all that sort of stuff, and
It's rattling about it.
yeah, so I sort of evolved into like year 12, and yeah, I was like sort of using her shit, and that's how I sort of started to get to know about it. And then it got really bad, and we were yeah trying some new shit, and it was okay. And I used bio oil for a long time.
Okay.
Apparently that's all right, but I actually didn't know anything about it. Like I just was like, oh, it's okay. Do you know much about bio oil?
No, I don't. No,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
So yeah, I was using that, but it was very like, it's not like, it's nothing like this. It's like, it's like the serum, but the serum, you know how it
Mm.
like sticks, it is like nice and like goes into your face sort of thing, where the bio oil like stays on your face.
It's very oily.
Yeah.
Oil's hard to
Mm,
absorb.
Yeah.
as
So I
well.
was like, I don't know if, yeah, I was doing my skin justice or not, but yeah. And then I never like this, like I use this 4 times a day.
Yeah, what for? That's a lot.
Well, I love showers. So
Yeah.
we have no hot water at home.
Yeah,
At
right.
night because
Oh,
No shit.
wow.
we all love shower. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
literally, like well, it's weird. Like if I have a full day, like I wake up in the morning, use this, go outside and exercise and do my footy stuff, come in, use this, and then we do gym, go in the spa, in the ice bath, have a shower, use this, go home,
Well, it's working,
use
man.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it up.
Like
man.
it's like it's just sort of something that, like I use soap on, get the nice like smelling soap, the mango
Yeah, right.
or the strawberries and
mango.
cream.
For
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah,
listening,
okay.
Jack smells like
Very
mangoes.
fruity.
I
Yeah.
can smell it from here.
And
Sweet
then
and delicious.
get that on you, and then chuck this on the face, and now I'm chilling.
Yeah, good
Get
shit,
out.
man.
Put all the other
Do,
stuff
do you
on.
reckon the breakouts and stuff were like hygiene related because you were sweating and working out a lot as an athlete, or hormonal, or like
Yeah, a bit of both.
bit of both.
Definitely like, yeah, puberty from year 11 to 12, and then probably, yeah, not looking after my skin. When you get to that like 16, 17 age, a lot of things change. And then I was obviously exercising more, and I was trying to become an elite athlete. So yeah, that sweat, and I'd be training in the morning and then in the afternoon, and then sometimes at night. Like it was pretty, like I was going pretty full on in year 12, in year 11. So yeah, definitely that. But I'm in a good space. with my
Out of
skin.
curiosity, like how would you rate the hygiene levels of other players at Collingwood?
Yeah, it's a lot of half.
Half.
Yeah, it's not. There's a few boys that there's a few question marks around, but
No
yeah,
names. No
yeah,
names.
me and Isaac use tomorrow. Isaac's a big lover now because
Shout out Isaac.
yeah, we love Isaac.
We've got you
He's
some products, man. You just let us know.
he's got a beard, so like no one can see his like pimples. I guess
Right.
he's talked about that to me. So like it looks okay, but I'm pretty. I don't think he'd care me sharing, but like we were like, oh, clean shave your beard, and he's like, oh, nah, like my skin. I was like, oh, so that's why like we got him on this, and we might see the beard shave
beard
soon
come
because
off.
he looked good with the braids and the no beard. I reckon
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a good looking character.
He's a good looking rooster for
Yeah,
sure.
when we go to Europe, he'll
He'll
be
do
on
it.
one.
Yeah, well, man, like it's you guys aren't like, but unique in this respect, right? Like I would not go out. Like if I had a breakout, it would prevent me wanting to go out to a party
Mm.
because I was that self conscious. And you talk to enough people, they're all the same. And then the only gap between that is like how you actually like taking care of your skin. And like you take care of your body. If you work out, you seem to take care of your hair. But people seem to miss out this obvious part that sort of covers your whole face, right?
Mm.
So, if I knew what I knew now, I could have probably enjoyed being a bit younger and
Yeah.
taking care of my skin better.
Mm. There's yeah, I definitely went through that phase where like I only took photos like from here, like you'd never see me. I used to send like when I Snapchat, like I'd like send a photo from here, and I'd be like, great, but like yeah, now or like a few months ago or wherever it was, I'd from year 11 to 12, I'd take photos like from like this compared to like that.
Mm.
Just because I knew like down here
Mhm.
it was like bad, which is like yeah, that was a change for me. Like I'd hate getting photos at the side of my face taken. So I love all my photos being like front on,
Mhm.
which is annoying, but yeah, it's obviously starting to get better and
Getting really good, mate. You're looking good.
mm,
Yeah, keep up it.
Do you reckon it's a generational thing as well? Like, do you notice it's more the younger boys that are into the idea of the caring for skin and more self care versus the older boys at the club? or
nah, the other
not
way
really?
around.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Darcy Moore looks after himself really well. And Jamie, they've got that soap I was talking about, and
Yeah.
he's got stuff for his face. Yeah, there's not many that have a skincare routine, I don't think, but yeah, there's a few. Yeah, the hygiene's very 50-50. Yeah, and it's
We've got to
yeah.
get that up to 100%,
I know.
boys.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. There's a few
Winners
questions.
wash their face.
Yeah, a few question marks on a few players.
There you go. Well, man, like I always say, like, what you do and how you work on it is inspiring to me. Like, I don't think you need to always look at older role models. I think somebody that deals with such an intense echo chamber and this level of intensity of, you know, criticism and polarization as you do, you really do an incredible job of keeping it together and also just keeping it really simple. And I think for me, the takeaway is like smile more.
Mhm.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it, and and thanks for coming in and doing this, dude. It's really
Appreciate
awesome
it.
to link up with you.
My takeaway is meditation. I'm going to meditate more.
Good man, that's a great one.
That's me. So
Sweet, Ro, you got one for us?
Just keep sleeping.
Yeah.
Sleep more.
yeah,
Easy as.
sleep, meditate, smile.
Sleep,
Done.
meditate,
Love it.
smile. We can do that.
Love
That
it.
can be our little motto.
That
Little
can be
motto.
the tomorrow plan.
That's it.
Sleep,
Love
meditate,
it.
and smile. Easy, brother.
Unreal.
Thanks,
so
Jack.
much.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
mate.
We're good.
Thanks.